All right. Well, today there was an area meeting for the area high counselors, but Brother Jones, I'm really grateful he did. He invited me to go, and so that was really cool. So from that meeting, I just wanted to share at least a couple of thoughts that he gave us. He asked the question, "How is your assignment special and unique?" And of course, he was mainly referring to the high counselors, but he said, actually, this refers to all of you, in whatever capacity that you have with family history or whatever calling that you have, but particularly with temple and family history. And so some of the thoughts he had were really, really cool. He said, first of all, we have a direct bearing on the souls of men and women on both sides of the veil. It's like, what other calling in the church has that? He said, Sunday school is great. Young women, young men presidents are great, but they're affecting those on this side of the veil, not on both sides of the veil. And so we have a very unique position in that we get to influence people on both sides of the veil. So that's kind of cool. Then he reminded us that every president and prophet has spoken about family history, and it's mentioned in every single standard work. That's kind of awesome. You can bring a feeling of fulfillment, of spiritual fulfillment, to hundreds of stake members, because you all know who've been engaged in this, it is very spiritually fulfilling, extremely so, because of the help that you get from the other side. And then he reiterated also that the apostles and prophets have promised specific blessings with this particular aspect of the gospel. And if you're not aware of those, I'm sure we can get you a list of those specific blessings that we've been given and are continually given. So this work that we're engaged in is special, and it is unique than any other calling in the church. And sometimes it is overlooked. They were talking about how missionary work, yeah, it's right in front of your face, people, they're right there. But family history it's so easy to forget about the dead, and just ignore them. So we have the opportunity to try and help people to catch this vision. And then he also restated the fact that I have always believed that the best way to get people to the temple is through family history. Because if they have their own card with their own name on it, they're more likely to go to the temple than they are otherwise. So these are things to remember, and just to feel good about what you're engaged in and what you're trying to do, because it is unique and it is special above all other callings. All callings are important and they're all special, but this one, you have an influence a lot farther than many other callings do. And if you think about it, way farther, farther than you can see on the other side. So it's a great work. So I wanted to ask, first of all, I had asked Helen to let us know what they're doing in their ward, because they're doing a cool thing. And Wes Marriott was going to share something, but I don't see him yet. So I may go ahead and share that, what's happening in our ward. But Helen, we'll turn it over to you first.
Okay. I asked Melissa Kennedy to come on. I don't know if she's here yet. But anyway, she's a young women's president, and she got the youth together and first of all asked me to teach them how to index. And so the motivation that they did with the youth is really on their part, and most likely their parents' part. And so they had invited the youth, and they also invited the ward as well. And so this was in March. And so what I do now is I'm the admin for our ward in the web indexing. And so I think they're still working. I think youth are still involved. I'm not sure
how you create, you bring up a project. How do you do that? How do you bring a project and tell them about that?
Okay, I would need to share my screen.
Heather, can you do it where she can, okay.
Okay, so how I do that is I go to indexing on Family Tree. Here's the main menu, and I click on indexing, and I go in the down menu. I click on the web indexing, and on the web indexing, you can scroll down, and here's Pueblo, Utah, South Stake, and then there's Franklin Second Ward. We started off with 62 members. Indexing now is up to 70, so I'm thinking that the ward is getting more and more involved. So if I click on Franklin Second Ward and scroll down again, this is where I can add the project in our ward.
Create a group, or are they automatically there when you just log in?
Say that again.
Do you create the group, or is it automatically there when you log in? Is your stake in your ward already there when you log in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had initially put this one on. When I first get into web indexing, I go through the list of indexing projects and I review them. And I try to pick indexing projects that are most likely typed out and with more than 10, 20 records on that one image. So this is the second one that I had added, which is the directories. And one of the sisters in our ward, Brenda Bial, she does a lot of indexing. So I asked her to help me to look for projects that the ward can do. And so this is the one that she had recommended. And so I adopted this project for our ward. So we've got 2 projects going, and looks like it's being worked on. So this was pretty much in the 70%, and now it's up to 84, 97%. And I set, okay, so May just started, so I usually set a goal for the month. And for April, that was the month. And I'm not sure if that was reached. So I didn't check that. So I'm still learning how to be an admin for our ward for in web indexing. And this on the right side, like I said, there's 70 members in our ward that are indexing.
This is a great idea. Oh, go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, something that worked for us too, like we kind of divided the first.
Oh, here's Melissa Kennedy. She's
okay.
She's our young women's president. So
thank you,
go ahead, Melissa.
Sorry, I'm gonna be bouncing so I can get him to.
She just got a newborn.
Oh yeah.
So something that really worked for the ward, we did like one training session and we split the session. So I had so we split the session. We kind of had like the kids that didn't even have an account. They joined with me. I got their membership numbers from the bishops. I told them how to create the account. I walked them through how to join, and then show them very, very like step-by-step how to do it. And then we had another session in which they were being explained like how to join, what to do. And then she walked them through the steps of what to do, like a little bit more generally. So I feel that helped a lot. The other thing that was part of the challenge was that they had to show parents what they learned. They had to show parents how to join.
Oh.
And they had to try joining together. So my whole idea and purpose was that hopefully through that experience that it would become a family activity, and that whatever questions they had, they would turn and ask parents and grandparents or whoever to help out with that. And I think that really helped, because they were able to, like, I saw on the, sorry, kids just came in. So something I noticed with the members of the board that joined was that we didn't just have the youth, we also had the parents of the youth join the project, because when they couldn't figure out what it was, they would join on their page and try to do it. And I think that made it more effective too.
Love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, and it was fun. Like, we did it as a month, and I sent texts for reminders. They were working on that. We were also sending an email with a reminder of where the challenge was and how much percentage we have completed. And Helen was posting it on the Facebook page too, on the board, so they could see where we were. And she was also posting resources so they could access. I even had my 8-year-old, because he saw me doing it, and he's like, oh, I want to do it. So he actually did like 10 or 20 like records on his own, and he was very happy about it. So that was exciting.
No, it's not only getting them in indexing, but by looking at records, it gets them familiar with records. And so when they go into Family Search, it's not going to be so intimidating to them because they've seen this before. It's a wonderful way to introduce them. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you too, Helen. So if you can cancel your screen, or did you have something else you wanted to say?
I don't.
Okay, you just unshare your screen, and then we'll keep going.
Do you know how to do that, Helen?
How to unshare it?
To unshare it? There should be a thing down at the bottom of your, if you make everything a full screen, yeah, there should be down at the bottom of your screen. It should.
There we go. We're good.
There you go.
We're good. Okay, I still don't see.
I think that's something my ward should do. I wonder if I could arrange that.
Yeah, I think if you found a person to be in charge of it or something, or just you be in charge.
If the lead consultant in my ward would find someone to be in charge of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right channels. I think I mentioned before what Wes Marriott, I don't see him here, but what he started doing in our ward is that we highly believe in bribery, and we like that. And so he started a quarterly challenge. And so for a quarter, he has specific challenges for them to meet. And then they have a drawing at the end of it. And then the person who wins the drawing gets a DNA kit. So
I think Melissa forgot to mention she gave out an award of some kind for participation.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, see, you like bribery too. That's good.
Yeah.
Or positive reinforcement. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So does anybody else have other ideas that they've been doing in their ward? These are just the two that I've heard about. And I've heard that every ward but one in our stake has a ward plan. I'm not sure about the South Stake, but I've heard that the Freedom Stake does. So has anybody else had or seen anything that's been effective in your ward or in somebody else's ward? Well, if not, we'll move to the next idea. So we've been pondering how we can assist you in your calling if you're a ward person, either the Elders Quorum person responsible or the Relief Society person or a consultant in your ward, or even if you're just interested in family history, how we can better assist you. And we thought we have a Google sign up. We need to advertise it again. But if you wanted to be trained individually, you could sign up on this Google sign up that we have that Heather will get the link out to you. If you want to have a family history experience, you could sign up. Or if you know somebody in your ward that'd like to have some training or a family history experience, gift it to them. Tell them it's a gift and you're giving them this time slot for a family history experience. It can be really cool, because if we get the information ahead of time, we can really provide a fun experience for them and get them excited about their family. We prepared a list, or I prepared a list, and Nancy helped me refine it. And then I tried to think of, as a consultant, or even as a person who's involved with family history, there's a lot of things in Family Search to learn, which we don't want to tell people that because we don't want to scare them. But there's a lot of little details that come up. And if the consultants don't know how to help them, then they don't know where to turn. And the example I have, one example is that there was a sister in the West Stake that found me on Google because they didn't know that they were attached to our Family History Center. And she said she didn't know how to add memories. And she was wondering if we could help her. And nobody in her ward knew how. And so that concerned me. And I thought we need to have more people who know how to do basic things in Family Search. And so I created this list, which might be overkill, but I tried to think of every little tiny detail that there's there that might be a question. It's kind of like a checklist that I can send to everybody. And then I was discussing that with a sister in our ward, and we were thinking that would it be fun? Of course, in my idea, anything family history is fun. But at the beginning of every week, we have our class at 7 o'clock. If the first 5 minutes, we would just take and cover some of those items. Does anybody think that's a good idea?
Sure.
And we could invite all the consultants. It could be advertised for anybody who wants to just hop in for 5 minutes. And we could even tell them what, for the next 2 months, what we'll be covering each week. Just because there's just so many things. Do you know how to merge a duplicate? Do you know how to separate people? Do you know how to post a memory? Little things like today, even my lead consultant had seen in the temple file, where they have the temple ordinances, how it all said that you couldn't submit it, had that in there. Do you know why? Is it because they're famous, or could there be a glitch? There's a lot of different little things that would be helpful just to be exposed to them. So when people have questions, they can feel confident in going to ask you. So if you all think that's a good idea, we may go ahead and start implementing that just for 5 minutes. Who can't spare 5 minutes, just to learn a little bit more about Family Search?
Diane,
Yes.
those things are covered in my lessons, but they're covered in a more expanded version. Like I have a whole week on how to do memories instead of 5 minutes.
Right.
Or a whole week on how to do such and such in Family Search. Is it better? I'm wondering if the people that are here will tell me which is better. Number one, to do 5 minutes at a time, or number two, to do a lesson where we cover the things that are wanted the most.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. So if you think 5 minutes is better, show me one finger. If you think special lessons on one topic are better, show me 2 fingers. One finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Angel, I'm not seeing fingers from you. Sister Gray. Diane says 2.
I think it'd be good to have both, my opinion, just because you get people who come in just for 5 minutes and learn a little bit.
And then they're free, that they don't feel like they have to stick around to relearn something they already know.
Then, because your lessons that go more into depth, they're awesome, and everybody who's come to them loves them. But I'm thinking about the general people who just want to learn, okay, how do I sign in? And so just a quick little, so they don't have to stay for an hour if they don't want to, type of thing.
I can't help but think that we should have a special night, maybe either before or after the 7 o'clock lesson, just on how to set up a ward challenge and ward training in indexing and how to be a ward administrator, so that one person from each ward could come and just get that specific thing. And maybe we could ask the lead family history consultant to figure out who in their ward should come and work and do that, because I think that this is excellent what the Franklin Second Ward has done.
Yeah. Maybe we can get Melody and Helen to help us spearhead that.
Diane?
Yes, John?
However, for example, tonight our whole ward right now is over at Clinton's or at the Clint's house for the Lemonade Social. Last week they were over at the Bishop's house, so there were huge crowds. And I just left the one to get here, so there are huge crowds of people going. So something that interferes with, by the time they get out of church, late afternoon before, because they come early to that 6 o'clock thing, and they stay till 8 o'clock, almost every Sunday night, to the Lemonade Social. So that's probably.
You should bring a computer and turn it on while they're there.
Well, that might be something that you could do, and that might be where Wes is right now. Now,
Oh, true.
Melody just got here, so she was there too.
Well, if you have more thoughts about it, send me an email or whatever, so that we can make something that's really workable for you and for the members of your ward. You have a better, idea of what might appeal to them, and so that we can just help people get familiar with Family Search and the little things that scare them, because there are just little things that might say, I don't want to go back again because that's too frustrating or something. The other thing I would like to talk about is, during the meeting, they had made the comment that the Family History Library at BYU is doing Zoom shifts. And I thought, why didn't we think of that sooner? So we're thinking about talking to our volunteers or getting more volunteers and seeing if we can get a Zoom account for just the Family History Library and be open for certain hours on Zoom. So instead of having a shift in the library, you could just have your shift at home, but people could feel free to pop in and ask questions. So do you all think that might be a good idea for? So we're thinking about trying that, and because people don't often want to go out of their house, but they might have a question really quick. It's like, oh, the Family History Library is open. I can click on and ask a question really quick. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more too, just to put that in your head, that if we can get a schedule going for that, we'll let you know what the schedule is and how it's going to work.
Rose, do you have a comment about that?
No, I was just raising my hand to agree. That would be a great idea.
Okay.
And then I just want to cover upcoming classes. Of course, we have a class every Sunday evening Nancy teaches, and our training, of course, is usually the second Sunday of the month, but we didn't want to interfere with Mother's Day this month. And for training, we especially like to invite all the consultants and the lead consultants and Relief Society Elders Quorum people. Of course, anybody's invited to come to training, as well as any of Nancy's classes as well. As soon as COVID will allow, we're hoping to do a Native American workshop, which will be kind of headed by Helen and a couple of her friends who I know, and they're awesome. And then I had the thought, when Family Search last week had like a DNA thing kind of off and on all day. It was like this little conference on Zoom. And I thought, well, why couldn't we do that with an international flavor? Like advertise far enough advance so that maybe at 9 o'clock we have Germany, or 10 o'clock we have England, or 11 we have different countries all during the day. And so I mean, the ideal thing for me would be so fun to have it in person, of course, but with COVID not being really stable yet, maybe, what do you think about that idea as far as, do you think that people would have an interest in that? To have, that way they don't have to go all day. They can just pick the country that they want to go to and just pop in on Zoom during that time period. Do you have any thoughts about that?
An hour per country?
Yeah, something like that.
We'd want to do a survey first to find out what countries are most interested. Seems like there's a lot of people in my ward right now from Brazil.
Cool. Maybe that's what we need to do first then, is have a survey
Yeah.
out there to find out what countries people are from and what they'd
That'd
be
be good.
interested in.
Yeah, our board did something like that in San Diego, and they, of course, had every room, and they had the flag and the name of the country out there, and the person would explain different things to them. But with Zoom, that would be great, because you would get a list of the countries. You would know the hour in which you could do it, and we could stretch it over, over a period of time too, if it was too exhausting to do it all in one day or whatever like that. But it gets them familiar with the different things, like in England, what is it called? The B something something is what you look under for birth certificates or
The GRO and the, yeah.
you know what all those those things mean, those acronyms. And in Norway, isn't it a family? There's a book that is kept.
The Vigda book. Yeah.
There's a book that's kept on every family, or a page at least, and every year it's updated. Who died, who got born, who immigrated to America, all sorts of things like that, occupation, where they lived and stuff. So I think it would be interesting. I think it would be nice if people could go on and be able to ask those different questions. I mean, I'm sure they could go to Ancestry or Family Search or whatever, but I'm not even really sure I know where to find them on that.
Right. It'd be good to have an hour where they're just spitting out to you, okay, here are all these websites you can go to and what's available, like you're saying, just to summarize it all. And maybe have a handout that can be emailed to them at the end of it.
I was just going to say that, and because your brain goes so fast, and you're trying to look at their screen, and you're trying to take notes. But it would be really good at the end if they would email you their notes from it, or whatever. And so you'd have all those websites or those places or whatever, and that might be helpful. That might be interesting to some people who.
Well, and even in the chat, people who are there, they could put their name and email, and one of us, whoever's there, could be copying it all down so that we had all that list at the end of each class or something.
Yeah, but if it's possible to make it shorter than an hour, it would be great. But there's a lot to cover.
Well, if we say an hour, that way we're not running into another class. It can be shorter, but we don't,
Right. Yeah.
And it leaves time for questions and such as that. So,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Melody. That's great.
Right.
Well,
I think Rick had a comment.
Oh, Rick, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I did. And maybe you've discussed this before, I don't know, but previously, I think we were in the High Priest Quorum. We did a survey concerned about food storage preparation, and we sent out, just a little letter. Well, I was concerned about maybe trying to figure out what I could do in the Elders Quorum, with my position with genealogy. And it was strictly voluntary. And we said, this is no way to find out how much storage you have. The effort was to correlate efforts in the quorum to obtain different items that different people didn't have reasonably. And it worked. And there was a lot of participation. And so I was just wondering if for the quorum, if we could just do a general questionnaire, kind of like where are you with family history? And then have some things that lists, say like, I have my stuff on PATH, but I don't know how to get into family history. Just have different things that, or, you know, I just don't know, time problem. I don't, or, you know, you could list some different things that might be where people are with their family history, and then they could write in any kind of thing. And maybe from that, get a feel for, you know, just like where everybody is and what their next step should be. I don't know, maybe you've done something like that, and you know, I just thought maybe that might, at least for me, it would give me, I don't know how to connect with members of the quorum and know where they are and how to even approach any kind of training if I don't know what I'm dealing with. I don't know if that would work. I don't know.
I think you should try that. Why don't you try that? And then you can report back to us how it worked.
Okay. Well, I just wondered, I didn't know if you had done that anything before, but yeah,
Well,
I thought maybe that might work.
We did it, but it's years ago, you know, years ago. And so it's a turnover. You know how our ward is. So I would
ward.
try it. If you feel impressed with that, I would give it a try and share your results with us. And then if it's if it worked really well, you can share your questionnaire that you gave, and we could share it with the other
Okay.
elders quorum.
I'll talk to Wes and we'll see what, maybe we can come up with something.
Because it is good to know where people are at, so we know what to teach. You know, that will help. Eventually will help Nancy. It's when she starts planning her lessons as to what people are really most interested in and where they're struggling. And so we could have classes that are, you know, have one that's dealing with more of the beginner, and then have other classes that are dealing more with people who have other questions that are a little bit more farther down the road.
Well, I know you're constantly inviting people to attend training and to, you know, but I'm just wondering if some of them just are still staying closed off, and if a questionnaire might open the book or something, you know, I don't.
That's true. That's very true.
Anyway, we'll see. Thanks.
You mentioned something about planning my lessons. Can I just take a minute and tell what my lessons are for the next few weeks? Today it's how to prepare photos and memories for Family Search, specifically about your mother. And then we'll work more on that next week about adding your mother's photos and stories to Family Search. For our younger people, probably they want grandmothers instead of mothers. Then on May 16th, we'll do using Find a Grave to prepare for Memorial Day census visits, cemetery visits, so that you can know which cemeteries nearby you have people in your family, and how to find which stones and which burial places you would be looking for. And then on May 23rd, mapping your ancestor using land records and census information to find out where to look on Google Maps to find where they lived. And then on May 30th, we'll do more on stories in Family Search memories. So that's the month of May.
The memory month.
Memory month, I guess, MM.
Diane?
Yes. Yes, Jeannie?
Is it possible for Nancy to give those to Heather and have them email to us the different lessons for the different days for the next month, so we know what's coming up? And
good. Yeah, she said she'll do that. So cool. Did somebody else say something?
Yeah, me, Wes. Mary.
Oh, Wes. Hi, Wes.
Hi. I just had a quick follow-up. So everybody that's on this call currently, is anybody just here because they like family history, or are they here because it's their calling in their ward or stake? Is there anybody here that's not called to a position of family
Jeannie's
history
not
as a family
called.
consultant? Or
I'm not called. I'm not called.
Rose, Jeannie, and Angel are not called. They just come because they like to.
Love it.
okay.
I'm here for both.
And then obviously Rich, and then Rick also. Yeah, because that was my main question here is, as you're talking about getting people, you guys are talking about getting everyone to these meetings, right? As many people as want, right? Not just people who are consultants, right?
Well,
And
training,
so-
we like to have consultants, but anyone's invited, we just thought consultants
Yeah.
might like to have a little extra training. But go ahead, whatever you
Yeah.
want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Your thoughts.
So I guess that's the question. If we're trying to target the masses versus are we trying to target just people who are interested and we're trying to give them trainings, right? Like if we want everyone to come to this, then the messaging and the process and how we do things would probably be a little bit different than people who are like, hey, for the next month, we're going to train you. For all people who are interested, for the next month, we're going to train you in little tidbits for 5 to 10 minutes on how to do family history. And a lot of people on this call may not even be as interested in those meetings as people who are just trying to get involved and like really learn. Because most people on this call probably know how to do everything that is going to be taught in those meetings, right? Or if we're trying to go in depth, like really go deep, then that changes how we message, right? And so I just think that's just an interesting distinction. If you're really trying to go for the masses, then it's like, hey, we're going to go for a month and here's some of the scheduling of what we're going to do, but it's only going to be 5 to 10 minute meetings. And people are going to learn some really powerful things in those 5 minutes, but they're going to be quick. And you're going to get a refresher on family history or get involved or whatever it is. So I don't know. It just depends on what the goal.
So Wes, let me clarify a little bit. On the second week of every month is the training meeting for people who have callings in family history, and everybody else is invited. And the last half of that meeting is more specific training on something that's new or in season or something. Then every other week, starting at 7, is a general class for the masses. So that might be something, if you didn't understand that kind of schedule, probably lots of other people didn't also understand that schedule. But did that clarify a little bit for you?
Yeah, that helps actually. I think that a lot of the messaging, at least on like the Ford Facebook stuff, there's a lot of just like, hey, we have a meeting tonight at 7. Anybody can join. We're going to be talking about this.
Okay.
And that's great because that, I think that still informs people that they can join somewhere and they can get on a meeting where people are learning. But I wonder if there's some sort of rhyme or reason for certain people who are kind of on the lower interest level, but they're like, because that's kind of what we're trying to hit on with the 5-minute meetings is like, hey, this isn't a big deal. Like this will be 5 minutes. You'll get a good taste of some family history. You'll learn a bunch and we'll be done. And there's a great time for you in those 5 to 10 minutes. It's not a big commitment, but it can get people interested. That's what I understood with it, right? Right now we have the 7 o'clock meetings, but I'm wondering if we might be able to capture some more people if there's some, I don't know, the messaging around that.
At the very, very beginning, when I was talking a bit about that, I had the thought that we could do a 5-minute section at the beginning of her class, and then people could just leave. And the logic behind these classes that we have that Nancy teaches is kind of like the Family History Library. They offer classes for people. With RootsTech, they offer classes. And so we try to get them out there and have them advertised so that if somebody's interested in, I'd really like to learn how to add memories. So they know, I'm going to set aside that Sunday and go to that class. Or if I've had, like I taught a class on, or I want to teach one on immigration. Let's say that someone wants to learn about immigration. It's like, that class is going to be taught on this Sunday. I might go to that class. So they're just like, we're just offering classes kind of like the library does, so that if people have an interest in that particular subject, that they know it's being offered and that they can come, and it's more interactive than just watching something on from Roots Tech or something. It's just that on the second Tuesday we do training. We thought it would be helpful to get everybody together and to share ideas so that we can all help each other with our callings and provide some ideas. But the 5-minute idea is just a brand new one. I had mentioned to you earlier, that's just a brand new thought that maybe we could just throw that in there for like you say, the masses, the people who don't want to learn more in depth, but do want to learn these little specific things like, how do I sign up for Ancestry? And just in 5 minutes we can show them rather than having them sit through an hour class about it. So
well, perhaps while we're on Zoom, maybe we should have our training part of the meeting prior to 7 o'clock so that everybody isn't confused about, is this for people with a calling or is this for everybody? 7 o'clock could always be for everybody, and then 6:30 could be for training.
We could discuss that.
Or 8, yeah, we could discuss that. Good ideas, Wes, for us to refine this.
Yeah, so if you all have feedback, we need your feedback. So
yeah, I think my last point on that would, I'm not saying that what our ward is doing is the best thing and or whatever. But what I felt with our ward was that people just needed, they need help. they need some hand holding and some just specific tasks that can help them get involved. And so, I don't know, for me, the 7 o'clock meeting is great. But I don't know, like, the progress for it. Like this Sunday could be one thing, next week could be a totally another just random thing. I'm wondering if those 5-minute or 10-minute things are like, hey, for the next month, we're going to be talking about, indexing or whatever. And so like every Sunday, there's little tidbits that can help on indexing. So everybody who's interested in indexing can know that, oh, this month I could jump on at this time every Sunday and learn something about indexing or whatever. And then it gives them some rhyme or reason rather than like, ooh, I missed that week with the 5-minute learning. Now I don't know what's next week or whatever, but maybe there would be a schedule still anyway, but it just feels a little bit more like for our ward, we're doing this quarter is all indexing. And so it makes it really easy for people's brains who aren't like total family history people. They're just like, oh, I can do a little bit of indexing this month. And then next month it's a different, next quarter is a different task or whatever. Anyway, I'm just pondering about ways that just makes it easy for people to jump on and be like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. And this is, easy learning for me. But anyway,
and one
I've said enough at this point.
is that those type of things too could be on a ward level. We wouldn't even have to do it from a bi-stake level or tri-stake level. Because every ward consultant knows what their particular ward needs.
And Heather puts our things on YouTube. So the 5 minutes can be on YouTube, and a ward could have everybody look up what was on YouTube.
That's true too. We could create
it's even better than mine by far on YouTube.
Well, there's a lot of ideas out
I know.
Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm kind of stirring a little bit. I've said enough, but I just wanted to share some of my.
No, I find those thoughts very helpful because our ward is turning around again, and there's going to be a new Relief Society person called, and so there's always change going on, and so I've kind of wrapped my head around the idea of individually, like I used to do groups. And those leaders are still there, whereas the Relief Society ones would need training. And so it's like a constant process. So I would be more in favor of speaking to like a ward council or something, having my ideas shared with the ward council so that other people could have that same type of input.
This is awesome to have discussion. We haven't had discussion before. This is great. Because it'll help us all think, because the whole thing is we're just trying to refine the process, or it's just a continual refining, I guess, or changing and adapting. And so thank you. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Diane, and everyone else who's listened and participated. We appreciate that. We'll try and think about things that we can do. And as you think of, because everything really is ward centered, and we're here to support you. That's why we provide classes, just to throw them out there. But if there's something better, like Wes had said, maybe there is something we could do with a 5-minute thing, and that would be a support to you, so that your job isn't so hard. Because if you're in the trenches with everybody, you've got a lot going on. And so we can do things on a bigger level that can cover a lot of people and maybe make things easier for you as well. So
Diane?
Who said Diane?
Rick did.
Oh, can I just offer something along that? I thought what Wes was saying was very good, and I feel the same way. I do online training, and we're on an online world in a lot of ways, even before COVID. But and the online training, you can just select what you're doing, and everybody goes at their own rate, and if you don't get something, you stop it and you go back. I'm not saying that we can set that up, but I'm just saying that also, being older, I went back to school and I know what it is. And I would guess that many of our wards in the state have a large student population. And a lot of the people we're dealing with have schedules, or at least with BYU, it was really hard to be regular on certain non-school things because you didn't know what was going to get thrown at you. And it was, you almost didn't have a life. So it seems like, it would have to be something that's kind of really spelled out and something easy to get on and to participate in and get off, to where it was kind of right there up in their face. So they could see it and it actually, it would make it simple for them to participate, because their lives are very complicated. School is, it's horrendous. So anyway, I'm just sharing that from my experience. I keep thinking about a lot of our wards aren't totally populated by students, but we have a mix, but I do know that if you can somehow cater teaching to teach, so that it's accessible at the person's level and it's readily. So I think the rambling and all this talk is good to try and home in on a possible solutions that might work. I don't know. So I know we're all grappling for things, so anyway.
Well,
thank you.
When we all started out, we had an open family history center, and we could staff it whenever we could, have people there and invite people to come in anytime during the week that they wanted, according to what the schedule is open. And if they needed to get in on a special session, they could call and get somebody to come in and help them on those things, like our youth programs. But the COVID thing has changed the whole thing. And so we have two levels. We have the stake level, those of us who have stake callings, and then that's integrated and supposed to be integrated with the ward levels. And so I think it's an interesting thing that we have to correlate and merge together. And if we don't, we got a lot of talent that, when the center opens back up, a lot of these problems, could go away. If everybody has a 5-minute question, they could drop in the center for, 5 or 10 minutes. There's somebody there to help them. Maybe that's what we might be talking about, Diane, when you're talking about having Zoom open. Somebody has a question, get in on the Zoom things, say, Sister, Hugo is on Tuesday nights, for 2 or 3 hours, and she'll discuss anything. Or, that might be something that we haven't tried.
So one thing is that when I read the handbook, as the Family History Center at stake, we're the support. We don't really want to foist anything on anybody. We're just trying to offer classes and different trainings and things for you to come to help you with your calling. So just so you know that's the thing we're trying to learn to do, is how to be a support without interfering and without interfering with your calling, because you have inspiration for your own wards, for your own quorums, or your Relief Society or whatever. And we just want to offer classes, whatever we can, just to be there so that you have someone to come to or send people to if they need help. So please just always understand that we're not going to try and interfere with anything. We just want to offer any help that we can. So
can I say one more thing, Diane? I want to make sure I clarify here, like what you just said was being offered. But until I started coming to these classes, and then, of course I had a calling, but I've been wanting to do family history, but I think somehow you need to get some exposure. And I've seen this in Jill's in my life, is there are different times when you really get the bug. Not everybody's that way, but a lot of people are. And it's like, once you get that bug, or you get that, you become somehow more self-motivated. I don't know what to say, but my attending these classes have really motivated me, and I've really been having wonderful experiences. But so again, I'm throwing up. I'm not trying to confuse or anything, but I'm saying that I don't know how to. I don't think you're forcing yourself on people. I think a lot of people want to do it, but there's blockages there, and if you get through that, then I think people will take off. Like myself, I'm so thankful that I have attended these classes, and I'm taking off with my family right now. So and I think we all know that's part of well, we need to save our dead, and it's something that we all need to do, and so I don't think that you're imposing by any means, but
I hope not. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that, that we just want to be here to help.
Yeah.
But Nancy, can you like teach your thing in 5 minutes?
Well, for my lesson, one of the things that I had done for tonight was I had asked Angel Metzger to share with us a memory that she has added to Family Search about her mother or her grandmother. So can we have Angel? Could you do it in 5 minutes?
Yes.
Do we need to share you the screen?
Yes. I don't know how to do that, but let's see. Sure.
Okay, Heather will give it to you, and then you just click share screen at the bottom.
Okay.
Go down at the very bottom of your screen and wiggle your mouse.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
And it should give you different things like a green button that says share screen.
Did it work?
Aha, like that one.
Like that. Okay. All right. Here is a picture of my mom. Okay, this is my dad and my mom. That's me and my older brother Anthony.
Looks just like you.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I didn't get hair until I was 2, and I only had 1 tooth, so they called me Snaggletooth.
You look like your mom.
I think so. Anyway, so I added that picture. Let's see what else. I've added 55 memories of my mom to my Family Search account for her. And some of them I've made private, and and others, like this is public. My brothers are okay.
Please move your mouse so that people can see where the public and private
Right here.
button is.
Right there.
Okay, right
You
there.
can make it private or public. Let me see. So I have lots of pictures. My little brother, Jeremy, died, so there's a lot of pictures of the whole family and whatnot. So how I did this was, oh look, see all of the memories? This one, I'll show you guys, is my niece had, this is Milo. This is my mom now. She's on oxygen full time, and she hates it, but it keeps her alive. So I made that one private because that's part of her history, is that this happened to her. But just like all of us, we're more prideful at sometimes than others, and I don't think she would want it made public. So, so on memories, you can just, here's the memories of the person. You can just, I don't know how. Oh, upload a photo. So you can just go and upload a photo from your computer. I guess I should have showed you how to do it, because I don't have the, I usually do it from my phone. So these
Well,
are,
we can talk more about that next week.
yeah, I can do it from my phone. Here's another. This is a cute one. This is me and my mom too. And I post this on Facebook like every Mother's Day because I just think it's awesome. But if we go back to memories, if you want to add memories, you just go up here and you upload the photo. Then you select your photo. And then I don't know what else you wanted to say, Nancy, but like, then you can just click down here and tag. Another thing that I really like is you can press record a memory and then record a person's voice over it. So let me go here, details. This is my little brother. Oh, and I'll share this. This is not my mom, but I'll share this with you. Let's see, memories. As you can see, I've added a lot for my brother there. But can you guys hear this if I play it?
Let's find out.
Could you hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah. Okay, that's my little brother. He was at the Huntsman Center, and it was my dad's birthday. And he had called and left it on their answering machine. And that's one of the most dear memories. And when I miss him a lot, I go and play that. And I figured it was safest to have the church keep a record of his voice. So on memories, also with my mother, I have also started recording her voice and my dad's voice. And yesterday I went and I added, I know it's not mother, I know we're all talking Mother's Day, but I added this for my dad. Let's see if I do parents. That's my cute dad.
Her dad is our stake patriarch.
This is my dad that I took a picture of yesterday. This is where he was born, under the kitchen table.
Under
the kitchen table, yes. And it is in Provo. You guys should recognize this. It's there right by Fresh Market. I don't know what it's called. It's, if you go down, I don't know. Anyway, so it's still there. And so I made him yesterday go stand in front of the house he was born, the apartment. There's 4 apartments. It's, I don't know how old it is, but it's cool. So anyway, you can easily just add memories all the time. You can add audio. I don't know what else you need, Nancy.
Oh, I did not know we could add audio to explain a photo. I
Right
think
here.
that's wonderful.
Like record a
Record
message.
a memory.
And then just, oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can record a message also. I think that's a new feature. I think that is something that people will treasure, to hear their ancestors' voice or to also hear a story about that photo. So with this photo, I'm going to go over and with my phone, hit record a message and have my dad talk about his birth. So then that's a memory that is on there. And then all the grandkids and the great grandkids can see a picture of my dad and also hear his story in his own voice.
Marvelous.
And so, yeah, so just, and then I haven't added the title or anything. I know so I have my mom, but that's my dad too. And I love adding to that. So there's my mom again. Any questions or how to add memories? So you just upload. You can also select from your gallery, and this is like this is just all the pictures I've added to Family Search. And so you can also add and you can delete.
She's added 197. Do you notice that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And do you notice that not everything is pictures?
No.
Because there are a lot of objects that are important in our life.
And then with these objects, see right there, there's an audio. That's my mom's voice explaining why this is a family heirloom. I got to go. These are accordion lamps that came from my family. In the pioneer time, the boy would come into the house and the mother would decide how much oil was put in the lamp. And when the lamp went out, the boy went home. So if she liked you, there was more oil. It's just a small lamp. That's like a coffee grinder. This right here is a pick that you stuck in when mining. You put the candle in. So each of these have like a significant family heirloom Y on those, but you can add any audio. And so that's what I'm working on more. These last ones, the artifact ones I bought a shot box from Roots Tech when they did a deal. And I've been using that to take pictures of family heirlooms. And then I'll add the stories, record my parents' voices with the stories. So that's what I'm currently working on. Okay.
Thank you, Angel.
Now, how do I stop sharing? Oh, stop share right there.
Oh, we can stop you from sharing, I think.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Angel. I wanted her to give I knew Angel had done dozens, if not hundreds of memories and different, so that's why I wanted her to kind of give us the idea of what's possible for us to do. And then we'll talk more next week about how to scan pictures and how to colorize pictures. And nowadays you can even animate your photos through a new feature on MyHeritage. And so we'll talk more about those next week when we have a full hour. But thank you, Angel. I appreciate seeing how it actually works.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And then I think the best part is adding that audio, because
oh, I do too.
Especially, I know my brother's only been dead. He's my baby brother and he died of cancer. But some days I lost a sibling, so I'm a part of that, whatever, the club of you lost a sibling, but it aged my parents 10 years, and to still have his voice when we have special family moments is really important.
Yes. Well, and I don't know what started me on this exactly, but I have been going through my trunks of keepsakes and deciding what's really a keepsake and what's not, and asking my kids which piece of my jewelry do they want and when I die and whatever. And so I have put several objects on Family Search lately, and I'm going to go back now and make the audio so that they know why I have a picture of the replica of my grandmother's gold turquoise ring, and explain to them why it's not just a golden turquoise ring, but it is a special golden turquoise ring. So I really like that idea. So finish thinking about what you would like to have for a memory on Family Search of your mother or grandmother or aunt, and we'll discuss more next week about how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody who has given their ideas. I love that we had a lot more discussion this time. It is so good to hear all of your ideas, because that helps us. And honestly, I appreciate every single comment that was made, and thank you very, very much for that. And thank you, Angel, for sharing your photos. And we're just going to keep thinking and working best that we can help you. And please share more with how you think that we can help you. And we're all in this together, and we're excited. We just love to help. So we'll have a closing prayer now. John, would you give us a closing prayer, please?
Our Father who art in heaven, we come before thee with gratitude for the blessings of this Sabbath day. We're thankful for the opportunity we had of renewing our covenants with thee earlier, and tonight in fulfilling more of the covenants that we have had in fulfilling some phase of our calling. We are thankful for the opportunity to be able to serve this special calling for those on the other side of the veil. And we would ask that thy Spirit may sweep this area, that with thy Spirit to have everybody feel the need and feel how important it is for us to do the work of our ancestors. They are there waiting, and there is much work to be done and not a lot of time left to do it. We pray for thy guidance. We pray for the inspiration and guidance, especially with with Diane, that she may be able to have an open, keen mind, and that we all may, that we may be able to figure out how to best serve thee as we serve our ancestors in this part of the vineyard. We're grateful for the blessings and the testimonies that we have of this work. And please help us learn to best share it with others. We pray for these things through so in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You all for coming. I love that you came.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say Diane.
Diane?
Oh, yes, Brother Jones.
Sorry, I was trying to get back before the end of the meeting, but I didn't. So things are in the works between Bishop Brother Patrick and myself to have an account assigned to the family history.
A Zoom account? Really?
You'll have your own account. Not sure how soon we'll get this up, but that's in the works.
Yoo-hoo!
We'll have our own Zoom account.
Right. Good man.
And Wes, I was just thinking too, with this 5-minute thing, if we did start doing it, we record everything that we do. We could record those little 5-minute things and have them available for people later.
That's true. Very true. Awesome. Okay. Good
Thank you,
night.
Brother
Or
Jones.
would it be better? I wonder if it would be better for 15 minutes or 5 to start at the end of my hour. And that would tell me when I had to be done. But would that be a good approach to do it after the hour instead of at the first 5 minutes, and then if it went over a little bit, I would lose lesson time.
Oh.
So we maybe would have it starting at 8 instead of at 7.
Well, like Brother Baird said, about the Lemonade Social, it might work out better for people to do 8.
It is good that we have other things to do on the Sabbath day besides just family history. I think it's good to have word lemonade days or some Sundays or whatever other
But really just not meetings, just something that's not a meeting.
Yeah, but our ward there's Cereal Sunday in our state at 7 o'clock. Yeah. And we had a special music fireside a few weeks ago. And those are also important and strengthen the members. So I don't think that we are in competition. I think we need to somehow make things fit everybody in their season of life. A teenage boy really should be at Sunday Cereal Sunday instead of at family history lesson.
I have an idea that will solve the problem. Brother Jones, you can write the prophet and have him put the question of, are you doing your family history research on our temple recommends? If we did that, then the testimonies would.
No one will be going to the temple.
Oh, aren't you just
I mean-
so thrilled about the announcements about the Ephraim Temple?
Yes.
And the fact that they're going to keep, as they've been discussing the Manti Temple restoration and decided then to do the new temple in Ephraim, they've also decided to keep the murals by Sister Tykert that are in the Manti Temple. And so that combination of solutions to the problem of getting temple availability to the saints in San Pete County, it just thrills me.
That's about.
What Nancy said, I for one would prefer the training first and the snippets after. And
Okay.
Okay. That's good to know.
I have an idea.
After the people put their kids to bed.
Yeah, I have an idea, and I'm not, no calling, no stewardship, whatever. I'm just a
You're a
participant.
faithful attender. You have
Yeah.
your voice.
It would be kind of fun to have, like, invite someone at the 8 o'clock meeting and say, okay, Sister Metzger, let's find you someone to be baptized. Let's get your account up and let's find you an initiatory. How can we do this? So maybe we could get them going to the temple, or we know the baptistry is open. Let's get them a name to go to the baptistry. Let's say, okay, you think it's done. Diane knows about descendancy. Let's take you 15 minutes and let's go and find you one name for you to go. And maybe they would catch the bug and then to go. Because like today, Emily and I did take a name and we found 2 sisters, but they popped up because the 110 years are up. We hadn't even looked at it for over a year because of COVID. And now we looked, and then I'm like, okay, does it have sources? You know, do we have duplicates? Let's really look at this before we reserve it. And they did have sources. And so she has 2 names to take. But I think at 8 o'clock, we could maybe, you know, the Pioneer Park Ward, your family history consultant needs to find one person and invite them to come to the 8 o'clock meeting. And let's find them a name and get them like just excited about it. So then they will go. That's just an idea. You know, using the researches, everything we've learned all year, like descendancy, or just the take a name, or the temple, find me, all the little features that you've taught all year long. And then maybe the consultants, they're probably all gone, could also say, hey, I'm going to invite everybody to the Facebook page, because I don't think we have that many on the Facebook page that are in the stake. I think we only have like less than 100, but I've invited like 5 people that have joined. But they haven't come to class.
You're talking about the family history page on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Provo South Freedom Family History Center Facebook page.
Right. You could have your consultants then invite people, and maybe we could just have like, you know, like Brother Jones or, you know, or Sister Jones, come and let's look at your family tree on Family Search. Let's have you sign in and then just do like a Zoom meeting, you know, where how you guys just walk her through, or you take over that account and say, this is how you do it.
Well, we could even, we need to think about all these ideas because they're so good. But maybe even have, it's like a lottery. You won. You win. We're going to do you on this day.
Yeah.
But
You
the
know,
thing
or like-
is that other people will learn by watching
Yes.
us help them. They will learn. And
Yeah.
so maybe we could do a random lottery of the whole stake, and somebody who doesn't even know about family history, we can just say, hey, so-and-so, you just won the opportunity to come to our 8 o'clock finding.
And if they could find a name and then go get baptized, you know, and then feel that connection.
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
And if they don't have a keyboard.
I know when Ian was on his mission and he found all the names from Mexico, and then Sam and Emily went to the temple and did that work, you could feel that all of Ian's ancestors accepted the work. even though I'm not a part of it and they're not directly related, they help their brother and they have a stronger testimony of temple work and there's life after death and the plan is real because of that connection. I think more people need that.
They've got to have a taste of it.
Yeah,
it's like
that's what we need. And they just need to have you guys like hold their hand and then they can get it.
Well, we've all had to have our
when
hands
I took my little, I remember when I took my little brother to BYU, this was of course decades ago. And I said, no, we're going to go through this microfilm and look for the family with the last name of Michael, every family with the last name of Michael. And we found a name, and because they were in a record, we were able to do the temple work for all of the children in that family. And that is still his remembrance of when he started family history. Yeah.
Great idea, Angel. I'm gonna write that down.
That's a good idea. And I've used the videos we have, like Diane's Descendancy. I got on, I watched it. I tried to go back. I found one of Ben's ancestors. And I'm like, why did she die at 19? I can't find out. I'm so frustrated and discouraged. So Ian, my expert, I said, Ian, and he went on and he found ancestry. He found her death certificate by looking at.
I was looking for the dad's death certificate,
see?
not hers. And that's
because
see? The dad's name was more correct on the index for the death record than the actual person.
So then I found out she did die of age 19 from underlying health, and she never did get married, but all her work was done, and it was fine. And then he helped me attach the death certificate and attach the sources. And so I think the videos are great. Every time I come to your class, I learn something new, even though I've been here a year. I think more people could benefit from it too. And I just think it's just an invite, or like, you know, showing them their family and holding their hand. All right.
I need to do more hand holding, more taking individual people situations in my lessons. And that's kind of hard to do because I have to prepare a little bit and be sure I'm going to find something.
Well, and also I think that's why it could work at 8 o'clock, you know, to hold and do that. But you also, Nancy, your lessons have to start with someone who's never done family history before, and they just barely learned how to sign in, to someone who, like Diane, who that's her job. You have the whole spectrum.
Well, everybody that's taken a series of classes from me once is going to be kind of, oh, I know that the second time around. And yet, because it's kind of hard to teach young adults who are so fluent with the computer and at the same time teach a 70-year-old who is still getting comfortable with the computer. And I'm having to teach, now this is what you do with your mouse and you click on this.
Yes.
And so I have to teach the variety in order to make it work.
And you do a great job. You do a fantastic job.
Well, I keep working on it. And I appreciate everybody that comes to my classes because my brain needs that support.
I think you're fabulous. Okay.
Thanks, Angel.
You're welcome.
And thanks for what you helped us with tonight.
Oh, I don't know. You're welcome. I hope somebody will like add audio.
Well, and I think I'll add audio, but I also think that people will say, oh yeah, I have that grandma's sugar bowl. I ought to put on that grandma's sugar bowl. Oh yeah. In fact, what I was doing today was I was writing the story of the importance of my mother's rose plate.
Oh yeah.
And now I could put the audio and not have to just put what I wrote about it.
And it's, yeah, exactly.
And so that was one of my projects today, was to work on my grandma's rose plate and put it on.
Nice.
Yeah.
On memories.
Hi, Brother Jones.
All right, I'll let you get back to your meetings. Okay.
Thanks for coming, Angel.
Thank you. Bye.